Hello and welcome to this video. We are in the turbulent. It's in the L410, an aircraft that I originally was tester of. By a very nice developer. And it is freeware, even though he has been talking about a second version that would actually be payware. So in the future we should see an updated version that would be payware if everything goes as planned according to what has been said previously. So it is just to take the aircraft and take it out for a little spin here, to give you a view of this particular aircraft. And even though I'm not too slower aircrafts, I totally admit it. This is such a nice aircraft to fly. It's so steady. Because sometimes atoms is, in my opinion, too sensitive. When we see it from the perspective that we are seeing, mostly with a joystick or what it might be. So it gets very sensitive, as well as the main motion of the aircraft. As you would notice that some of the aircraft actually seems to have more or less the direct inputs to the control surfaces, because in reality the aircraft is not responding in a linear way, you can say. It takes a little bit before it actually reacts to the inputs. So that's out of the way. Let's get to it. The aircraft always comes with the engines shut down, and the easy way to actually get it up and running is to switch all the switches and then start the engines, of course. And for this particular aircraft, you have to pull the buttons so they are in a position to be on. It's a bit different from what you might normally be seeing from other manufacturers, where it normally is when they are forward, they are actually on, I should say, sorry. So I'm just going through them here. In the up position, autopilot is here, DIs in here, we're not going to use those. Let's switch on the DME and all those if we would like to. Do note that most of the buttons is working, but even though some of them are working, you can say more or less they are dummies, because they're not gonna do anything as such. Sorry. And there you got the windshield wipers, but this knob here it's not that easy to see, but it is actually there. Okay, and then in order to get this aircraft running, we need to flip There are, as you can see, a few, but it is down here you should be pressing in order to start the engine, and as you can see, it starts. So there, as such, in my opinion, isn't that much to it. Do note that I'm not following checklist and such, as I tend to demonstrate things so it is attractive for users that is not going all that much into checklists and following all procedures and such, because we are all different. Some are going down and doing every single thing as you should, where I'm more or less is doing the things that is required for the aircraft to fly. And it is basically just to give you an illustration of that it isn't that difficult, even though you have to start the aircraft from the shutdown configuration, because it isn't that difficult. Okay, here we got some aileron trim, and trim wheel, elevator trim is up here. Okay. Also, because this particular aircraft, you of course has to be careful with the engines, as you always should be, but you would also know that some aircrafts punish you more than others, because some are simulating things more than other aircrafts, of course. We can switch on the taxi lights. It's a bit funny that it actually has a free switch position here, but that's how it is in reality. So yeah, you got it. The reason that we got this flap here is actually going out when you are setting the flaps, as I'm doing here. Let's see down here. That it was in the up position. It has a free stage position. Even though for takeoff in this particular aircraft you don't need that much of power in order to get airborne, because this aircraft actually really wants to fly, so we don't have huge problems with that as such. But now we're just slowly taxiing out here to the runway. You can see it from the exterior. One of the main things about this aircraft is also that, as you can see, the handling on the ground, it is very stable. It's not like, how should I say, skidding around like some aircraft is doing. And I know some of it is due to the differences in the structure of the aircraft, but I also believe some of it is down to what parameters and how well developers are to set those values. But again, of course, one of the most annoying issues in X-Plane is when you are parked and the aircraft is moving for some reason. Of course, in reality, the aircraft can be pushed or such if the runway is wet, or of course if it's a very light aircraft and there is a very strong wind. But I have experienced it, and other users might also have experienced that. Indeed, it's off and you are just holding by the gate. If you sit there for quite some time, you would actually see that the aircraft is not in the same position as when you first got there, but that's how it is. So some of the things is something we can do something about, others is just how the simulator itself is. So, now I would not talk that much, we need to fly. And we have set the flaps. Now we would need the landing lights to be switched on, and it's done by doing that. And then if I want some panel lighting, it is by those knobs here that you can adjust that. Okay. It's really nice to see how the aircraft actually bounces, but it's not that it feels uncomfortable, that you feel that you lose control over the aircraft. It is really responsive, as you can see here, even though it can be a bit bumpy and such. But it is really a nice aircraft. And now I'm just gonna take off here from the exterior so you really can see how easy it is to operate this particular aircraft here. So here we go, set it crossed. Good. And I'm not using full throttle because then I would lose my engines, as far as I remember. Because I have to admit it is a while ago since I actually been flying this particular, pressing brakes, with the landing gears, and then here we go. Yeah, boy. And we are, by the way, here at Corfu Airport. That's one up. So accelerate here. You can see you really have trim here. I actually hold down the trim all the time here in order for the nose not to drop too much, because those flaps really you to retrim when you don't use them. Really have to be careful. So now we are back here in the cockpit. And do know that our airspeed here is knots. So be careful with the airspeed. But you might also see that, well, the speed is maximum 60, so if that was 60 knots, well, this aircraft would actually fly pretty slow. So now we are airborne. There is an autopilot. There's a default one here that we could actually use. Again, remember, whenever you want to engage the autopilot, you have to go up here, flight director. As you can hear, it actually sounded because it was switched off again. Yeah. It is excuse me. Apologize there. It is the old style autopilot, so it is basically altitude hold. As you can see, it does not feature any newer or modern elements that, at that aspect, so don't expect that. So what I normally do, and yeah, it is my project, yeah, I know, but it's not therefore I'm actually using this well. yeah, it is, therefore I'm using it, but I'm not using this as an example of how to fly the aircraft as such, because it is a project that is not part of the particular aircraft. I just tend to use it the most of the time. And that's basically because I feel it's more easy and comfortable instead of sitting and looking down all the time to see what I'm doing down here. Again, then they are creating those pop-ups, but yeah, I got a pretty decent panel here that actually can get me flying nearly every kind of aircraft except of Boeing and Airbus and all that, because they often tend to have their custom coatings and such. Because my project is only supporting the stock coatings, and that's the same that you can say that most of the time if you take side tech panels and such, it's doing and go flight autopilot. Because that's what's officially published, and that's actually something that companies can jump in and make work, even though I know that from the days that I also had autopilot hardware and all that, I actually spent a lot of time of programming that in order to be able to get my hardware that I have bought to operate as intended. So that's it. And the particular aircraft is also done with a cabin, as you can see. It's pretty primitive, but anyway, it gives you a feeling of a cabin and such. Yeah, there is a few glitches here and there that the model doesn't seem to be fully closed, or how I should say it, but nevertheless, it is freeware, and well, yeah, okay. And as well as I might be able to open the door in flight, but yeah. My perspective, it's a nice aircraft. It really is. And I really enjoyed testing it for the developer. Basically because I feel it's a very nice aircraft. It really is. Even though it's, as I've been mentioning, it's not my type of aircraft as such. I like the turboprops and such, but I'm more for the aircraft that flies a bit faster. But that is more the time that I can do the other stuff here and as such, but it's not something that I can do for a long period, because I often get bored by doing so. Okay, so now we are coming in here for our little approach here. Do note that you can adjust those values here, and then the aircraft will accelerate. I just forgot to mention, because it is As you would know in the other normal European aircraft, what it is, the props, because you would adjust that in flight in order to get a more economic flying experience. Okay, and we are descending now here, as you can see, and let's just shut off the autopilot. There we go. The autopilot is off. Manual flying at the moment. So I'm going to just close that panel. And right there you actually saw that I was turning to the right, and you can see it's really smooth, and it feels very solid in the controls as such. I know at the ground by the rudder you could see that's very effective, and that's also how it is in reality. However, the pedals in the real aircraft, you really have to push a lot, and that's where it comes in, where I was talking about the hardware that we're using, because it makes a whole lot of difference depending on what equipment that we actually got. And as you can see, the aircraft really wants to fly. As right now we are idling and we are still a bit too high, and I have not been using the flaps. You would see that the airspeed would drop quite a bit when we get the flaps in. But as it is right now, you can see it's very difficult to get the speed to drop. So that's one of the main things to be aware of here, that it takes some time to get that speed down. And now you can see that it wasn't great what I did, so I have to go around here, or at least do another try. That's what we're going to do here. So we're going to put the gears up again, have to back to the flaps, and then we are just slowly turning right here. It is really a joy to fly this aircraft by hand. It really is. It's one of my favorites aircraft on airline. It is so nice. Yes, it was a failed approach attempt, but I really do this in order to demonstrate, as I have been doing in the previous video I did for the Garmin 1000, or the X-Plane 1000 I should say, as it's named here in X-Plane. Even though it is more or less should be a replica of Garmin 1000. I try to demonstrate the errors, because if I just sit and talk about what could be an issue, it is not the same as it would be good for you, because then you might just sit and say, yeah, okay, fine. But here you actually have a visual of what is the consequence. And yes, we are a bit high, I know. Now the aircraft is giving me the warning, but you can see that the aircraft really wants to float. It is not even ditching the nose down. As you can see, it really wants to fly, and that's why I was saying that the aircraft is an aircraft where you really have to maintain your airspeed. There we go. Thrust reversers here, and then braking here. There we go. Not the most pretty landing, but we got the job done. Okay, or I should say it was actually rather smooth from the perspective of the main landing. So here we are at Corfu. We could just take a quick look here at our main landing. If we go in here and see it from here, oops, you can see that the aircraft really wants to float. It's very difficult to get the airspeed down so you can get in for landing. So the particular aircraft is not that forgiving. It's not that easy just to be a bit late, and then because it is so difficult to get the aircraft to descend and decelerate. Really see how it floats. There we go. That was a bit rough. I know. And dangerous. But anyway, I don't have that much more to say about the aircraft, because now we actually just took it out for a little spin, and in reality it is up to you to be the judge of what you think of a particular project and if it might be something for you. I can just say that it is one of the better aircrafts out there, and the developer certainly need the credit for that, for creating such a nice aircraft. He really deserves it. So, thank you for watching and hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.